This is the Codcast. All things Whitby Town FC.
Hello and welcome to the latest edition. I'm Andrew Snaith.
And the trialist in midfield has it. That's across to James Harrison at the back post, to Everton. He scores, of course he does. Scored 2 goals for Whitby last season and gets a goal there at the back post, just peeling off and putting West Auckland in the front. It's now Adam Gell who's gone over very softly there. Now it's a chance 1-on-1 here for West Auckland. It is into the net. It's Finlay O'Gorman with it. Shouts are offside, but nothing given as he's just broken through and Cam sort of behind the goalkeeper.
Yeah, Gell is complaining of a foul in the middle of the park, but yeah, it was pinched and then it's O'Gorman who's stormed through and slotted it away pretty well, to be fair.
Martin gets it again, his pitch closed down and there's a chance here for Scott as West Auckland is still going and tapping it home. I mean, it's an absolute mess at the back of Whitby, that goal there. Doing his best dousing to keep it out, but just couldn't quite get there in time. But what an absolute farce of a goal that was.
Yeah.
Converted by Scott in the end.
Really poor, to be fair. They had a few opportunities to get rid of the ball, really, and Norton plays it against. I'm not sure which player he actually played against. It might have been Scott.
Yeah, down, he squared to somebody.
Yeah, but
it's Connor Shields. Scott.
Yeah, again, that's 3 goals where it's just been our own silly mistake sort of thing that's caused us to concede.
That was the highlights, or rather lowlights, of West Auckland 3, Whitby Town 0 on Tuesday night. And after that game, we had Nathan Conyer speaking to Sam Kay.
So Sam, a bit of a tough one today after a good start to pre-season. What did you make of today's game?
We've been humbled, and we need to look at ourselves and regroup quickly for an important game Saturday to bounce back. We just need to get our heads down Thursday into training, work hard, and put a better performance on. Yeah,
it looked a bit tough out there. Obviously the pitch is a little bit different to what we'll be used to at Whitby as well. But yeah, what did you make of the conditions out there as well?
It's a game of football at the end of the day. Like, take away conditions, you're against 11 other people and everyone's in the same boat. You need to perform still and work hard, head down, get in people's faces, and like I say, it's the same for both teams, isn't it? So we just need to look at ourselves and regroup quickly. Yeah.
Also, you're a new addition to the Whitby Town team. How are you settling in?
Yeah, good environment to be in, good people. Obviously not been down at Whitby yet for like a match day, but looking forward to it, and just good to meet new people and hopefully get a bit of backing. Obviously 3 away games, it'd be nice to have a little bit of home support, and the fans behind us, so looking forward to it.
The Codcast, all things Whitby Town FC.
That's Blues midfielder Sam Kay speaking to Nathan Conyer after Tuesday's defeat. Liam, you were on commentary for This Is the Coast Extra, Liam Ryder. What were your thoughts after the game?
Well, whilst I feel Tuesday night was disappointing result and performance, pre-season, it's part and parcel of it, I think, really. Every year, we have these games where you lose quite comfortably against a team from a lower division. It's not just Whitby it happens to. I noticed Warrington Town, for example, they lost by the same scoreline to Atherton, Laburnum Rovers. And other teams as well have these sort of freak results. I think people like to overreact, but like Lee Bullock and Denny Ingram have both referred to, they'd rather get these mistakes, these sort of games out of the way in pre-season rather than the main season, naturally. So hopefully, we've got a few more weeks, 3 more matches in pre-season to work on what went wrong. It doesn't take away the effort that, again, we saw from the players that were running around and putting a good shift in like they have done in the first 2 matches at Mask and Bridlington. But just for whatever reason, very much an off night. And it's part of the learning process. It's a very new squad. And yes, you're going to have these sort of games throughout the league season as well, but hopefully not on a too regular basis. Get out of the way in pre-season and hopefully, we can really sort of start to get a good few good performances going again. Starting on Saturday against Pickering, and of course got Northallerton on Tuesday night, and then a bit of a break before we play the last game, the Mickey Skinner Trophy against Gisborough Town. So plenty of time to get things right. Plenty of training sessions still to come before the big kickoff on the August the 8th. But I think no need for panic, no need for alarm bells. I'm still confident in the squad from what we've seen from the other two pre-season games.
We also caught up, Liam did, with Lee Bullock, the Whitby Town manager, for his comments after the full-time whistle.
Well, another pre-season 90 minutes out the way. The first defeat of the pre-season campaign. Just your thoughts on that one?
I think they've had a fair bit of praise. Obviously, all the training sessions, a couple of games. It's the first time tonight where we're miles off it, really. It's the first probably disappointment since we came back. A really poor performance, obviously a poor result. It's the first negative they've had as a group. But they've been told in there that, listen, that you can take one of them now and again in pre-season, but that's it. That's their one chance. They've been told if it happens again and again, we have issues. We start to look, but so far they've trained well, played well. That was just a really poor off night. Mistakes all over the place, didn't get going. I think the ball's gone in his net 3 times. He hasn't had a single save to make after that. Their keeper hasn't had a save to make. So that if you're going to make mistakes, they punished us. We were poor at both ends of the pitch and poor in the middle for long periods of the game.
Yeah, and yet again, you probably can't sort of look at the endeavour, there was high pressing going on at times as well, but it's just like you say, those are individual mistakes which will ultimately, in league games in particular, are going to be really costly.
Oh yeah, 100%. Like the chances we give away early doors, just not talking to one another, give them an excuse of a new team, but there's basics of communicating and dragging people around, taking responsibility. Second one, we're caught in the middle of the park, and the last one's Jack getting caught. 3 terrible mistakes, and when you're not really firing at the front of the pitch, it makes for a long, uncomfortable night basically. So like I said, they've experienced the first negative in a few weeks there, and it was a negative, but fortunately it's pre-season. Barring a bit of face, we've lost nothing.
Yeah, and you've already mentioned Jack Norton has not been able to do much in his goal, but equally as well, some of the centre halves, James Dillon probably most notably, he probably passed with a very good game, but still can still let 3 goals in.
Yes, and there's a few good performances out there, which is, I know it all sounds negative, but there was a few decent performances from. Yeah, and I think after the first 10 minutes when we got ourselves settled, yeah, he had a good performance. He won his headers and he cleaned up. Sometimes in that position you get looked at, but if you're making 3 howling mistakes, or 3 errors leading to daft goals, there's sometimes individually not much you can do. But as a team, there's a whole lot we can do there.
Yeah, and a night reference as well at the other end of the pitch in the attacking third. Got some good areas at times, but really, like you referenced, just not testing, getting shots away mainly.
No, like I say, neither keepers had a save to make. Fortunately, Jack's picked it out of his net 3 times. Their keepers have probably put his shirt straight back in their cupboard there, because I said to them before, let's start working on the last touch. The last touch, whether it be a set, a cross, a shot, a through ball. I thought our last touch tonight was miles off, wasn't it? And the couple of little chances we did create, it just never fell, nowhere near. But that's why we're here. That's why we'll go on to Thursday night's training. I just said to them there, anything you've done wrong tonight, you put it right on Thursday. And then going into Saturday, I can't wait to go and play on our pitch. Because that, no disrespect, but that's a tough pitch. Same for both teams. But if we're having them issues on our pitch Saturday, then something is slightly wrong, because our pitch at the minute looks lovely.
Yeah, and now you've got to the halfway stage in your pre-season campaign, a chance to sort of experience victory, a hard-fought draw, defeat tonight. I guess really key lessons learned, and I suppose now chance to sort of improve in the second half of the pre-season campaign.
Yeah, probably should have been 2 victories and then a well and truly deserved defeat tonight if you're going to give mistakes like that away. But yeah, it gives them, like I say, they've had a lot of praise, a lot of credit. Obviously football loves to whack you in the face when you think you're doing alright, but it's just a reality check. We're nowhere near the finished article, we're miles and miles from that. But just the work, they just dipped off it a few percent tonight, and that hasn't been evident. Like I say, we'll give them one pre-season. If there's a couple more, we'll be having a real good look at it.
Yeah, and just looking at that next game against Pickering Town, the Tobar Express Stadium, and I'm sure most important, looking forward really to sort of being back there and seeing a lot of the home fans back in action again.
Yeah, it'll be good for them. Like they said, they've had 3 tough away games on surfaces that are not as good as ours. Our pitch at the minute looks unbelievable, so they'll be looking forward to getting out of there on that. But I'm not giving them excuses. I expect a better performance Saturday, and I think they'll give us one 100%.
This is the Codcast.
That's Lee Bullock, the Whitby Town manager, looking back on the West Auckland defeat and ahead indeed to Saturday's game against Pickering Town. More on that a little bit later on. But Paul Connolly has been catching up with the Whitby Town assistant manager, Denny Ingram, after the release of the new fixtures ahead of the 2026-2027 season.
So, Denny, first of all, we'll have a chat about Tuesday night's game away at West Auckland Town. Obviously, another pre-season game, another 90 minutes in the legs, but ultimately a disappointing outcome for Whitby.
Yeah, it was a disappointing result. We said all along it's not the results in pre-season, but to lose in the manner that we did, there wasn't a great deal in the game, I didn't think. They probably played the conditions much better than what we did. The pitch was very, very sticky, long, very bumpy, and the 3 goals were conceded unacceptable at whether it's a pre-season game or a first team game. It doesn't matter. They were very, very poor from our point of view. I think for all 3 goals we were in good possession of the ball, and making the right decision at the right time in certain areas can cost you, and we didn't do that on Tuesday night.
Yeah, absolutely. Obviously, three goals ultimately that separated the sides. But I guess the positive is that you've got a very quick turnaround. Obviously, you'll train tonight to get it out of the system, and then go into that game against Pickering on Saturday.
Yeah, absolutely. It's we'll get the boys together tonight, which I'm just sat in the car park now waiting for training. So we'll have a blast out tonight, get a bit of a sweat on, and regroup and go on Saturday. Obviously, we're back on home turf. The pitch will be what we expect it to be. So it'll be nice to get back onto a playing surface that you can actually hopefully get it down and play. Pickering will be a good test. I think they start their season next week, so I think it's their final game before they actually get underway. So it'll be, they've been back probably 2-3 weeks before what we were, so they're just putting the finishing touches to what their pre-season plans were, so it'll be a good test for us.
Yeah, absolutely, and as well, good to get back in front of the fans at the Tobar Express Stadium as well, and it'll be good for the fans too, or the majority of the home fans to have a first look at a few of the new lads.
Yeah, I think that's the thing, isn't it? It's a whole new squad. Obviously we've kept Gelly, and kept the young boys that were here last year, but ultimately we've rebuilt the squad. Look, it's going to take time, and you're not going to get that in 3 games automatically. There is going to be ups and downs, but ultimately we've got to concentrate on what we want to get across to the players and how they want to play. And like I said, Tuesday night was a little bit of an eye opener, shall we say. We had a chat after the game of playing the ball in certain areas when the time is right to play, when it's not right. So again, on Saturday, we're expecting what we spoke about and what we'll work on tonight for the players to go out on Saturday and put that into practice.
And for yourself, obviously, Pickering Town being a former club of yours, it'll be, I'm sure, a chance to catch up with a few old acquaintances there as well.
Yeah, obviously I had Hezzy at Bridlington with me. Obviously Cool, who I work with during the day. the day job, and obviously he was my assistant manager at Bridlington. I know quite a few of their players. They came through our scholarship, so no, a bit look. It'll be good to see people, but ultimately we're going out there to work on things and gearing up for the 8th of August.
Yeah, and talking about the 8th of August, then fixtures have been released this afternoon. Obviously, we sort of know the old thing of you play everybody twice and this, that, and the other. But ultimately, the first game away to Leek, it's a tough trip for the opening day, but one you'll be looking forward to.
Yeah, that's it. I think obviously when I came in at the back end of the season, the one away game that we had was League Town. So I'll be going back there very, very quickly. But like you said there, it's a tough place to go. Long journey. So, like I say, we'll be gearing up everything ready for League Town on the 8th of August.
Yeah, and it's a very frantic sort of opening month. I think 8 games over the course of August from that first one away at Leek. I guess in this league, it can be a bit of a beauty that you do have those games so quickly to either build momentum, or if you don't quite get the result you want on the opening day, a quick chance to turn it around again.
Yeah, it's the same for every club, isn't it? You know what I mean? We all expect Saturdays at the start of the season, whether that's FA Cup games, FA Vars, FA Trophy games, whatever that may be. It's always a hectic time of the season. And like I said, what we've got to do now is we've got to make sure that we're gearing the boys up, ready to rock and roll and hit the ground running on the 8th of August.
This is the Codcast.
That's Denny Ingram speaking to Paul Connolly about the release of the fixtures. Liam, any particular games stand out for you?
Well, the fixture schedule certainly thrown up. A bit of an alarming game, if you like, to start with. Obviously, our last away game from last season, League Town, a game after Woods that a lot of us on the coach quite sombre on the way back, sort of fearing the worst after we threw away that lead that we had and just capitulated in the second half. But new season, new squad. Ultimately, I'm expecting League again. They ended last season really well, really strongly. I wouldn't be surprised at the start of the season like that as well. But for Whitby, I think it'd be a good early test of them. Sort of just to see where they're at the squad. I mean, they have got a tough start because then after that you've got the first home game of the season. Against Guiseley, who again I'm sure they'll be a team that'll have big aspirations to finish high up in the table. So yeah, it's tough, but you got they're sort of saying if you got to play everyone twice, which is still the case. Very hectic first weeks of the season. I think August have got 8 matches in there in total. With how it sort of falls on the bank holidays, well, being right at the end of the month. But yeah, be a bit of an eye opener for us for sure. But equally, if you do lose a game, it's a good chance to get Fids back on track pretty quickly. So yeah, tough start. We've got some big games, and I think the tough end as well to the season. So we'll have to see how we get on sort of that middle part. But we've got to be excited now. It's nice to know where we're heading. And from our point of view, get sort of the 2 longest trips out of the way in the first month with Leek and then Quorn towards the end of the month as well. So I think people are excited now that the fixtures are out, see where we're headed and when. Some fixtures that we're not too keen on, i.e. Workington on a Tuesday night. That's not one particularly looking forward to. But now we've got those fixtures, a good chance to prepare properly. And looking forward to seeing how we can sort of develop over the last 3 pre-season games and then, sort of get an idea of who that start 11 may be at League Town on the opening day.
Paul, what are you thinking after the release of the fixtures?
Yeah, in terms of the start to the season, get our longest trip out of the way pretty much straight off the bat, going to Leek. And, it was something I sort of referenced to Lee Bullock, and Denny Ingram mentioned it as well a little bit, is sort of exercising a couple of demons there from the back end of last season. That pretty awful game down there that was an absolute horror show after the first 45 minutes. So a chance to maybe exercise a few demons from Whitby's point of view in that game, and hopefully get off to a positive start. But it's a frantic opening month, isn't it? You look across those sort of opening games, 8 in August, Saturday, Tuesday, pretty much all the way through. So
absolutely imperative that you get off to a good start in that one. But also as well, there's always chances to put things right if things don't quite go to plan straight away. And then obviously you look across the course of the season. There's those derbies with Redcar Athletic that you look towards as those big games, ones that people will be looking forward to. Obviously the games against the likes of Bury and FC United, both on Saturdays, which should hopefully see big crowds at the Tobar Express Stadium at the Turnbull Ground, which is absolutely what we want. And obviously Stockton as well, that being a Saturday at Whitby too. Not sure I'm looking forward to going to Workington on a Tuesday night. But I'll probably have to make an appearance with it being a new ground, the one-off at the rugby ground. But when I look at the fixtures, obviously the big thing that stands out to me is the running at the back end of the season. Some difficult games in that running. You look at the likes of Redcar Athletic and Bury and Warrington Town. Teams that'll be sort of good teams across the season, you would expect, and teams that'll be wanting to challenge at the top end of the division. So it's going to be a tough end to the campaign. But all in all, I'm happy to get the longest one out of the way early on. I think we've got some longer ones as well in the likes of Quorn, the back end of August too. So it does get those sort of hikes out of the way and ticked off pretty much straight away. So all in all, looking forward to August the 8th now. We're obviously halfway through pre-season, and it'll be good to get back to the real stuff in a couple of weeks.
So we look ahead to Saturday's game. It's Pickering Town at the Tobar Express Stadium. Liam, what are your feelings going into that game?
Well, I think the game against Pickering, it'll probably be, it's a game that we, of course, we'll be looking to win, especially being at home, at first pre-season outing on home turf. But equally a tough test as well. Pickering, they've had a few more pre-season games than what we have. They're very much ahead in their preparations because their season starts a lot sooner. And they've got some dangerous players, Pickering. So it'll be a good test for Whitby, I think. They'll be coming, as much as it's a friendly, coming to the Tobar Express Stadium trying to frustrate Whitby, you'd imagine. Kind of a bit of a scalp if they can sort of get a victory in that one. But from Whitby's point of view, the fans that are going to be there in supporting a home persuasion, they've probably got quite high expectations. They've heard about how well we're sort of done in the opening couple of matches at least on the road. Now it's about seeing that in front of them as well. It's a very new squad. Only really Adam Gell and Jack Kilpatrick, Callum Wilson really sort of sticking around from last season. So very much a new squad. I'm sure the fans are looking forward to being there. I know we're certainly looking forward to being back at the Tobar Express Stadium covering a game once again. But yes, it should be, hopefully a decent crowd for it, and a good test, more important. We don't want these sort of routine games, and I feel like Pickering can give us that. But yes, it should be a good one. Hopefully just get things back on track after the defeat at West Auckland. I know they trained on Thursday before the Pickering game. So, hopefully it can be a much more positive afternoon, and, we can sort of get the panic stations out of the way.
And Paul, home comforts for the first time in pre-season.
Yeah, it's going to be good to get back on home turf for Whitby. It'll be a good pitch, one that you can play a bit of football on and get the ball down and move it, which is what Lee Bullock and Denny Ingram are looking to do. And look, it'll be another test. Pickering are well on in their pre-season now. They start their season next weekend, so they're at the back end of that campaign, whereas we're sort of in the middle and still developing and still coming together as a team. Not everything's there 100% yet, as we can see. There'll certainly be scope for addition or two as well. It's still a bit of a work in progress, and it's still a new team. But it'll be good for supporters to obviously get down to the Tobar Express Stadium and just see what these new lads are about. Myself, Liam, Nathan, and obviously a few of the fans that have travelled have seen a bit of that across 3 games so far. But it's a chance for the majority of Whitby fans now to be able to see who's who and what everybody's strengths are and how the team is coming together from the point of view of Lee Bullock and Denny Ingram. So it'll be another test for Whitby. Obviously, it's one that Whitby won't take lightly. But certainly looking forward to getting back to home games and seeing everybody at the Tobar Express Stadium.
So yes, Saturday 3 p.m. it's Whitby Town against Pickering Town at the Tobar Express Stadium, and if you really can't make it, we've got full commentary from just before then on This Is the Coast Extra with Paul, Liam and Nathan as well. Thank you for joining me. Thank you Liam and Paul, as well as Nathan, Sam Kay as well, Lee Bullock and Denny Ingram for joining us, and to you for listening. I'll be back in the week with all the reaction from Saturday and to look ahead to Tuesday's trip to Northallerton. But until then, it's bye for now.